What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Thursday, February 22nd. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 10-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the point guard position. So I'm going to give you a stud pick here. I like Kyrie Irving from the Dallas Mavericks playing the Phoenix Suns, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the second most fantasy points to opposing point guards. Kyrie Irving has averaged 44.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He's projected at 43.5 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.8 times value. He's 9,000 DraftKings salary, 700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 244.5 points scored in this game. So you got a high scoring game, a good matchup. Kyrie Irving scored 63, 45, and 47 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 32, 42, and 33 minutes. And he scored 46, 62, and 38 fantasy points in his last 3 games versus the Suns. So I like Kyrie Irving here versus the Phoenix Suns. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. So I've got a value play for you, but let's move down to this sleeper pick here. I like Trey Murphy from the New Orleans Pelicans playing the Houston Rockets, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. Now, they have a good defense defending opposing shooting guards, but Trey Murphy has averaged 23.2 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 26 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. He's projected at 26.2 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.5 times value. Only 4,800 DraftKings salary, 800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 228 points scored in this game. And Trey Murphy has scored 35, 20, and 39 fantasy points in his last 3 games, playing 30, 25, and 29 minutes. And Trey Murphy, he scored 23, 27, and 22 fantasy points in his last 3 games versus the Rockets. So I like Trey Murphy here versus the Houston Rockets. Other shooting guards you can consider here at the same price tag, Aaron Gordon and Karis LeVert. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. So I like Buddy Hield from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the New York Knicks, who have a good defense overall, give up the 11th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Buddy Hield has averaged 25 fantasy points per game on the season. That's when he was playing 27 minutes a game. But his last 3 games, he scored 46, 44, and 47 fantasy points, playing 44, 35, and 36 minutes. So monster minutes, monster production, got a usage rate of an average of 19%, had a 21% usage rate last 3 games. So his projection is a little bit low here. It's going off the season averages, a little bit So these last 3 games, he's been on fire. He's only 67,000 DraftKings salary. He's 800 more on FanDuel. And Buddy Hield has scored 12, 31, 28, and 46 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Knicks. So he's had a couple of big games versus the Knicks. Now that he's playing a ton of minutes, we'll see if his production can continue. You can get him at a low price tag if that is the case. So I like Buddy Hield here versus the New York Knicks. Another small forward or power forward that you could consider here at 6,500, around the same price tag, is Michael Porter Jr. He's got a fantastic matchup here versus the Washington Wizards. He's from the Denver Nuggets, and the Washington Wizards have the worst defense overall, give up the most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. He's averaging 30.1 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 29.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.6 times value. He's 6,500 DraftKings salary, 400 less on FanDuel. So I love that FanDuel price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 231 points scored in this game. Michael Porter Jr. scored 28 and 27 fantasy points in the last 2 games, playing 37 and 30 minutes. And he scored 35 and 39 in his last 2 games versus the Wizards. So I like Michael Porter Jr. here versus the Washington Wizards.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. You know what? I probably should have given you Michael Porter Jr. here at the power forward position, but I'll give you another power forward here. I also like John Collins from the Utah Jazz, playing the Charlotte Hornets, who have the 5th worst defense overall, give up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. John Collins averaging 29.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 28 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. He's projected at 32.4 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. He's 6,200 DraftKings salary, same price on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 230.5 points scored in this game. John Collins has scored 43, 31, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 27, and 28 minutes. He scored 39, 19, and 35 in his last 3 versus the Hornets. So I like John Collins here versus the Charlotte Hornets. Now, of course, probably should have given you John Collins at the center position. Can play him in both. But why don't let's just go over a stud pick here. Probably enough value on the slate in a 10-game slate where you can fit in Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, playing the Washington Wizards, who have the worst defense overall, give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing centers. Nikola Jokic has averaged 59.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 30% usage rate. He's projected at 57 fantasy points here tonight. That's just about 5 times value. He's 11,600 DraftKings salary, 500 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 231 points scored in this game. Nikola Jokic has scored 35, 56, and 50 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 38, 31, and 29 minutes. He's also put up monster games versus the Wizards, scored 79, 64, 82, 64, and 73 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Wizards. So I like Nikola Jokic here versus the Washington Wizards.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.